The Ebola crisis is snowballing into a global catastrophe. Will it lead to a global pandemic? Good evening and thank you for joining us. You're right on time for the Prime Edition. The time now is coming to 9 p.m. here in Nairobi. This is Prime Edition and my name is O'Brien Kimani. You're right on time for the most comprehensive bulletin on the eastern seaboard of Africa. The highlights are coming up next and then we continue with the bulletin.
We're doing a lot of traceability. Anybody we feel who has been to that region in the last 1 month, we are tracing them and making sure that we protect our country.
Keeping Ebola at bay. Eastern DRC now faces a catastrophic collision of disease and conflict, says World Health Organization. One love, one nation. Calls of sobriety and nationhood dominate both Eid ul-Adha and women parliamentarians' prayer breakfast meeting. And Dede Nyoro's budget proposals. Kiharu MP defends his fuel cost reduction measures. And of course, Anu Wangeshi is on standby on the sign language platform. Calls for unity and national cohesion characterized Eid al-Adha celebrations as Muslims gathered for prayers across several grounds and mosques in the country. The festival, also known as Festival of Sacrifice, coincides with the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca and commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son in obedience to God's command.
At Sir Ali Muslims Club in Nairobi, hundreds of Muslims converged for special early morning prayers in commemoration of Eid al-Adha celebrations. Speaking at the event, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale called out a section of politicians for allegedly spreading hate and division among Kenyans.
And we want one nation. We want a place where Muslims, Christians, people of all tribes live together. And we don't want people who propagate tribal hatred.
This as Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has donated 700 goats to the city's Muslim community as they marked Eid al-Adha. In Mombasa City, Governor Abdul Swamad Nasir cautioned that early political campaigns characterized by inflammatory rhetoric and tribal sentiments could threaten national unity and trigger violence.
Kauli moja inaweza kuchukuliwa ni jambo dogo, lakini likiweza kuongezwa na la mwingine tunaweza kuleta taharuki katika Kenya.
While Muslim cleric in Busia decried the use of guns by politicians for political interest, warning that the trend could compromise the country's security.
Siwe ni sababu ya kuleta malumbano baina yetu. Ile culture ambayo imetokea gunism ni jambo ambalo linasikitisha.
Elsewhere, Muslim faithful in Isiolo have castigated politicians spreading claims of rigging ahead of next year's general elections, saying action must be taken against them.
Hao ambao wameanza kueneza uchuki, hao ambao wanasema election itaibiwa, hao ambao wanaeneza siasa ya kabila, tunawalani.
In the neighboring Garissa County, religious leaders in Garissa have raised concerns over the escalating cases of insecurity in the town and its surrounding areas.
Mavijana wa hapa Garissa ambao wanafanya trafficking. Si ati ni watu wametoka mbali, ni watu wa hapa mjini Garissa. Kwa hivyo tunahimiza serikali wajitokeshe, watafute, wachukue wapata list number za hao mavijana.
In Migori County, Muslim cleric Omar Hussein Mohammed has called for an end to internal wrangles within Orange Democratic Movement Party.
Chama hii tulikuwa kwa wakati ilianzishwa, tulikuwa Kisumu 205 na kaa chama imara, wasifuruge hiyo chama.
Muslims also converged in Homa Bay and Uasin Gishu counties to mark Eid al-Adha celebrations. Joseph Wahungu for Prime Edition.
Elsewhere, Muslim faithfuls joined together in celebrating Eid al-Adha on Wednesday, also called the Festival of Sacrifice. The event commemorates the unwavering faith and obedience of Prophet Ibrahim, who was willing to sacrifice his son in submission to God's command before God provided a ram instead.
For millions of Muslims across the world, Eid al-Adha is more than a celebration.
We are marking the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah, which we normally do by sacrificing sheep and a cow and a goat.
At the break of dawn, the Kiambaiko slaughterhouses in Nairobi was set for the day.
Ile kitu kama unachinja moja lazima ukumbuke jirani yako na hii maskini.
The ritual slaughter performed according to Islamic teachings, representing obedience to God and the willingness to give up what is precious for the sake of faith and compassion.
Of Islamic, we are not supposed to slaughter an healthy animal or animal with a deformity or a underage. Every animal must be from 6 months and above.
The process begins with careful selection and humane slaughter of the animals, followed by thorough inspection.
A vet doctor, who is available in this section, they normally inspect, and after inspecting, in case maybe any animal might be not as per the vet guidelines or the inspection, they normally sort it out.
After inspection, volunteers moved swiftly to package the meat before dispatching it to different communities. But beyond the sacrifice lies the spirit of sharing.
These families are spread in all over Kenya, about 39 counties or locations.
Qatar Charity was leading a large-scale meat distribution.
Qatar Charity is a governmental organization, and mostly our funds we get from Qatar national people. And like this one, for each goat is being sponsored by a family in Qatar. And they are sponsoring these goats to come to Kenya so that at least 4 families can enjoy together.
The gesture was replicated in different parts of the country as Muslims marked the festival through prayer, sacrifice, and act of kindness.
Tunasherehekea siku ya leo, siku ya kuchinja, tukiwa sote hapa kwa wakili Suleiman Kiogora ambaye ndiye aspiring MP wetu, anasimama na DCP. Tuko nyuma yake. Ni wakili wetu ambaye amekuwa akituangalia sana, especially siku ya leo kama siku ya Idi. Amekuwa akituserve, unaona nina masinia hapa. Amekuwa akitupa mlo, tunakula sote pamoja bila kuchagua wewe ni wa tabaka gani ama gani.
As Muslims in Kenya and the rest of the world are celebrating Eid al-Adha, it is a moment for prayer and thanksgiving and the symbolic slaughtering of animals in remembering Ibrahim's obedience and act of faith. Reporting from Athi River, from Machakos County, for KBC Channel 1, I'm Aaron Marie.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, for that report. First Lady Rachel Ruto has asked Kenyans to pray for the country's political leadership and have faith the nation will emerge peaceful and stable even after next year's general elections. The First Lady spoke when she joined women leaders at a prayer breakfast meeting organized by women parliamentarians. The prayer meeting comes just a day before the annual National Prayer Breakfast slated for Thursday, the 28th of this month.
The third Women Prayers Convocation under the theme Forgiveness and Reconciliation was a moment for women leaders to step away from their various leadership roles and responsibilities and seek divine intervention for the country at a time when Kenyans continue to experience heightened political activity ahead of the 2027 general election.
But Lord, you continue walking with us, you continue blessing us, and Lord, forever and ever, we shall glorify your name.
Lord, bring healings where there is darkness, peace where there is confusion, and hope where there is despair.
The things of God are not stoppable. When God chooses to bless a nation, he will bless a nation.
Led by First Lady Rachel Ruto, the women leaders interceded for the children, for families, and for the national and county governments.
Dear God, you know and you have written each and every one of our youth's names in your hands, Jehovah Lord. And we ask that you may see us through, dear Lord.
Kwa watoto wetu, atawale tu, mwachie Yesu, atawale.
The First Lady called on Kenyans to pray for the country.
People of God, women of God, let's believe God today. Let's believe God. I know we have believed, but today our faith has been raised. Yes. Anything that you are trusting God for, I want you to know that God is gonna do it for you.
Keynote Speaker, Uganda's High Commissioner to India, Professor Joyce Kakuramatsi, encouraging the women with her story of triumph over adversity, narrating how she first got her child at the age of 60 years.
God is faithful and he's good all the time. If you put your trust in him, you just need to be patient. Patience is having your first child at 60. You people, I almost died, by the way. I almost died. I said, who cares?
Notably absent from the congregation were women MPs allied to the united opposition. The women convocation comes as a Catherine Reza ahead of tomorrow's national prayer breakfast that will be presided in the same venue by President William Ruto. Geshoki Washira, Prime Edition.
The Ministry of Health now says it is ready to work with international partners in strengthening health systems and health security capabilities. In a statement, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says Kenya values its long-standing partnership with international partners. The statement comes against the backdrop of a report by an international news outlet claiming that Trump administration is planning to send U.S. citizens exposed to Ebola virus to Kenya for monitoring and treatment.
Following a public outcry over the report by the international news outlet, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale issued a statement neither denying nor confirming the claims. In the statement, the CS noted discussions are ongoing with the U.S. government and other global partners regarding international collaboration on strengthening preparedness and response mechanisms for Ebola virus disease and other emerging health threats. According to Duale, any arrangements regarding international health cooperation will, however, be guided by Kenya's national laws, public health regulations, biosafety, biosecurity standards, and the responsibility of the government to safeguard the health and welfare of the people of Kenya. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization is expressing concern that the ongoing clashes in eastern DRC are driving mass displacement, pushing exposed contacts into overcrowded camps, and severing critical containment corridors. WHO is now calling for an immediate ceasefire to allow safe and sustained access for medical teams. The statement comes even as the Kenyan government has maintained the country is still free from the disease.
This particular virus, Ebola virus, this strain, doesn't have a vaccine. But we are doing a very serious screening of all passengers entering our country, and more so those who have either coming from Uganda or were on transit through Kinshasa.
And like when COVID was there, we could send our samples as far as South Africa, but today we can test here in our country. So we have strengthened the laboratory preparedness and diagnostic readiness.
According to the latest report by the World Health Organization, laboratory confirmed cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo stand at 105, with 10 confirmed deaths. In Uganda, the WHO has confirmed 7 cases and 1 death. However, suspected Ebola cases in both countries stand at 906, with suspected deaths standing at 223. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Of course, thank you, Nancy Okware, for that report. Remember, Ebola is real. Ebola kills. and you need to take necessary measures. You're watching the Prime Edition. We are live from Broadcasting House, and of course our first break is coming up next. Thereafter, we are coming back with more stories.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns.
Tarehe 28 Mei tutashuka katika kaunti ya Kitui katika maeneo ya Kaseve, Masii, Makutano, Wamunyu, Katangi, kwa Vonza, alafu tumalizie Kitui Town.
Tarehe 30 Juni iko mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Kenya is shifting gears from Nairobi to Mombasa, Nakuru to Kisumu. The electric revolution is already moving. Now, the conversation that drives it forward comes to KICC Nairobi, where Kenya Power, Electric Mobility Association of Kenya, EMAC, GIZ, government leaders, innovators, and investors will all be in one room during the 4th annual Kenya Power E-Mobility Conference and Expo 2026. Themed Aligning Policy, Infrastructure and Partnerships to Scale E-Mobility in Kenya. The conference will take place on 4th and 5th June 2026 at KICC Nairobi. Kenya Power, powering e-mobility, pamoja twanga. Watch it live only on KBC.
Welcome back to Semana Spokes from Nagava.
Semana Spokes is the platform where wananchi engage, query the government, and the government responds. It's your time to be informed. Don't miss Bonga Nagava every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Semana Spokes.
A section of Central Kenya lawmakers from the ruling UDA party has distanced themselves from the party's Secretary General Hassan Omar's alleged ethnic profiling remarks and demanded his immediate resignation. The lawmakers, including Nyandarua woman representative Faith Gitau and her Laikipia counterpart Jane Kagiri, have threatened to petition the president if Omar fails to vacate office within 48 hours. However, in his defense, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale says Omar has already apologized for the remarks.
The UDA party Secretary General Hassan Omar is now a man under siege following his alleged tribal hate remarks that have sparked a storm even within the ruling party. Speaking in Kiambu, UDA legislators, including Kiamba MP John Kawanjiko, Alice Nganga of Thika Town, Jane Kagiri of Laikipia County, and Faith Gitau of Nyandarua, among others, have issued a 48-hour ultimatum for him to vacate office.
Should Hassan Omar fail to tender his resignation voluntarily within the next 48 hours, we will formally present a joint petition to our party leader, His Excellency President William Ruto, to invoke the party organs and officially dismiss him from the position.
They rejected his apology, telling him to follow in the steps of Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, who also resigned from the Council of Governors after uttering ethnic remarks.
We are going also to petition, if he doesn't resign, we are going to petition our president, who is the party leader.
And we also want to caution all the leaders and the members of parliament and all the politicians that we must be very sensitive of where we want to take this country in the next 1 year as far as the general election is concerned. We don't want to see a repeat of 2007.
However, in a separate occasion, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale came to Omar's defense, saying he had already tendered an apology.
Hassan Omar kidogo akateleza. Na kuteleza si kuanguka, akateleza. Dunia mzima inasema Hassan Omar. Na tena akaomba radhi.
Duale further took a swipe at the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta for his alleged attack on the government over failing to contain fuel prices and the cost of living.
Ulimtesa William Ruto akiwa makamu wako. Mungu akamjalia akapata kiti. Sasa wewe bado unataka kumtesa.
His sentiments were shared by a group of women drawn from the North Rift region, dubbed UDA Women Brigade.
And today women will stand in support of President because of his work. He has done a lot of things. Someone has talked about the dollar. Initially the dollar was around.
Tulikushikilia first term, tukakushikilia second term. Hata mimi mwenyewe si ukunywa maji yako. Na wewe saa hizi unakuja kuambia His Excellency the President ya kwamba umtambui kazi yenye amefanya.
Juzi tuliona kiatu ikitembea huko Kisii. Mara chupa ya maji. Jana kijana anaenda kumrukia. Na tuko na maaskari wamejaa kwa kiwanja. Please security.
Give us Minor Prime Edition.
Away from politics to broadcasting, where broadcasters across Africa are being forced to rethink how content is created, distributed and monetized as artificial intelligence, satellite technology and digital creators rapidly transform the media landscape. At the East African Broadcasters Convention here in Nairobi, media executives, regulators and content creators warned that traditional broadcasting models are struggling to keep pace with changing audience habits, especially among young people who are increasingly consuming short-form and mobile content.
Africa's broadcast industry is undergoing a rapid transformation driven by artificial intelligence, cloud production and satellite distribution. At the 5th East African Broadcasters Convention, industry players said the future of television will depend on how media houses balance new technology, accessibility and strong local storytelling.
Africa is telling its own story by itself. Africa is no longer waiting for others to tell its own story. So the challenge of Africa is not only creating content, it's about making sure that that content reach home, that content reach everywhere.
A key focus of the discussions was the survival of traditional TV in Africa. While streaming and mobile platforms continue to expand, broadcasters noted that millions of households still rely on free-to-air television due to limited internet access, electricity gaps, and infrastructure challenges.
For viewers, they are expected to have a set-top box and a receiving antenna so that they can enjoy a bouquet of channels. And also it gives the broadcaster the benefit of scale, more channels, better quality, and also the advertisers, they can benefit from buying reach and attention. So DTH is one of the most practical ways to deliver free, high-quality TV to millions of homes.
Attention also turned to shifting audience habits, especially among young people who are increasingly consuming short-form and creator-led content. Panelists warned that broadcasters risk losing younger audiences unless they rethink how content is produced and involve them more directly.
There is the worry about who controls the African narrative. New players are coming in to bring value to Africa, but to exploit Africa, culturally, minerals and all the other. Who is to respond to the needs of Africa in the centuries to come?
The convention also called for stronger collaboration among African broadcasters, with industry leaders urging a shift towards more intra-African productions rather than heavy reliance on foreign partnerships.
We must create an infrastructure for intra-African trade. We must think Pan-African, not think Anglophone, and we must build society ideas to each other in order to raise funds collectively.
Discussions highlighted both the opportunities and risks of digital platforms for women creators. While online spaces are enabling women to create and monetize content, concerns were raised over rising online abuse and technology-facilitated gender violence that continues to silence many.
How do we equip the women who are excelling on the digital platforms with digital skills that can safeguard them as they navigate the online platforms?
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Thank you, Ben Chumo. Kiharu Member of Parliament Dede Nyoro has called on the government to cut some of its expenditures, especially on areas that will not affect service delivery to Kenyans, to cushion them against the high cost of fuel. The MP, who appeared before the Budget and Appropriations Committee, proposed that the government should remove foreign travels, avoid budget increments within one financial year, and reduce increments of up to 25% in some sectors proposed in the next budget.
While appearing before the Sam Atandi-led Budget and Appropriations Committee, Kiharu Member of Parliament defended his proposals, including a 7 shillings reduction on the Road Maintenance Levy Fund and a reduction of VAT from 8% to 0%, saying the government has the capacity to further cushion Kenyans against the high cost of fuel.
The amount of money, because I've calculated, that will be required in terms of injections, either through subsidies or through the forfeiture of revenue, I thought it is a fair price to pay, other than the humongous price the economy may pay in the future. Because the parameters don't increase at the same margin that fuel increases. They increase by multiples. So we'll end up, therefore, mopping up a lot of disposable income from the people, other than just safeguarding them through that expenditure.
We have cut our development allocation by about 100 billion. So from where you sit as the former chairman of budget, where would you propose that we cut? Because if we are to do this, if we are to engage in this process, we are to implement your proposal, these losses, we'll have to get them from somewhere. The other alternative we have is to affect our fiscal deficit, which, as you know, also is quite steep.
You know areas in the budget that has gotten increment of over 25% this financial year alone. And because I don't want to sensationalize, I'll hand over to you specifics. I have actually tabulated over 100 billion Kenya shillings we can save out of the expenditure side. And you know what I'm saying.
However, the committee put Ndindi on the spot, saying the VAT was high during his time as budget chairperson.
When you were the chairman here, we had an issue of stalled roads that we could not be able to get funding for. Out of wisdom from other sources or other people, we were able to securitize that money and were able to pay pending bills, and the roads that had stalled were able to be done.
You understand that we have 7 shillings for the securitization on the infrastructure fund. Could you be having other motives that you are targeting that infrastructure fund?
There is still 18 shillings remaining in the RMLF. So that's one arena. The other arena, which I have actually done so, by writing to the clerk, is that we can also explore excise duty.
The committee noted it will retreat to consider the proposals before making the final decision. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
And of course, remember, the budget day is coming up on the 11th of June, and KBC Channel 1 will give you all the exclusive coverage of that critical day. At least 120 women working in the fish sector along the lake shores of Lake Victoria in Homa Bay, Kisumu and Siaya counties will now own boats as non-governmental organizations step up efforts to reduce vulnerability among women working in the fish sector. Women in the sector have in the past been subjected to sexual exploitation by boat owners and fishermen as they scramble for the dwindling fish stocks in the lake.
We thank you for the gift of provision, those who donated the boat to the community.
At Sangorota Beach in Kisumu County, members of Sangorota Women Group say a prayer before a historic moment happens. They gently push their newly acquired boat into the lake.
Juu itatusaidia, hatukuwa na venye watoto walikuwa wanaweza soma. Saizi tutapata venye watoto wataenda shule. Wengi wetu hawakuwa na pali pa kushikilia. Saizi watapata penye wataanzia.
They are amongst the first group of women to own a boat and will directly manage it.
The economic activities in this community are very limited, and fishing is a backbone of the economy in this area because of the perennial flooding that happens here and the other climatic changes that have also occasioned a number of challenges in this community. What does that mean for a woman in this community? It means that their main economic mainstay is to be involved in either being the woman who buys fish here, sells it out there, or one way or the other involved in the fish trade.
They are also amongst the first group of women who will now have powers on fish stocks fished from the lake and who to sell to, breaking long-bound traditional chains that have for years condemned them to sexual exploitation from men.
We had a discussion together with our donor, and it was like, how can we empower the women not to be lured by people in exchange of sex?
With dwindling fish stocks, women in the trade had to give in to sexual advances from fishermen who own boats and do fishing at night. Under that arrangement, the women were constantly exposed to the spread of HIV virus.
So for a woman to get the fish, chances are that you must be in a relationship with the fisherman or the boat owner. For that to happen, it means that then you're going to exchange yourself sexually with either of those parties.
That explains high prevalence rates amongst the fisherfolk in the area.
For them to turn that around, they needed to then be the owners of capital. So instead of them befriending the owner of the boat, they own the boat.
Geno Community Development Initiative, the organization providing boats, say they are working closely with the beach management units across the region to ensure women are not exploited or harassed by men who will be employed in their boats. They are also calling on other organizations in the sector to step up support along aquaculture value chain as a means of ensuring more women can acquire gainful employment and reduce sexual exploitation. Achola Simon, Prime Edition, County.
Do you know what's inside that prepackaged food? Those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Looking for sisterhood, craving solidarity, ready for a space where every woman belongs? Then Dada's Show is the show for you. As we discuss real issues, support one another, and celebrate womanhood the Dada's Show way.
This is the story of how a group of square dancing aunties gave me the courage to be with the woman of my dreams.
You young people live in such a big world. Go explore.
Have you done any dancing?
I've done more than just dance. I'm doing great here. There's no one like Liu to cause trouble.
Mr. Young.
That sister of yours is great. I'm going after her.
Off now to Kiambu County, where residents of Lari constituency in Kiambu County may soon witness the end of decades of transport challenges after the government announced plans to upgrade the 56-kilometre Moi Road linking Githunguri, Kagwe and Kimani. The 4.2 billion shillings project has sparked optimism among residents and investors who say the poor state of the road has crippled businesses and economic growth in the area.
For years, residents of Lari constituency have struggled with a dilapidated road network that many say slowed development and isolated the area economically. But there is now light at the end of what has been a dark tunnel, following plans by the government to upgrade the 56-kilometre Moi Road connecting Githunguri, Kagwe and Kimani. Hundreds of residents gathered at Kagwe Stadium during a public participation forum organized by the Kenya National Highways Authority and Area MP Mburu Kahangara to give their views on the proposed project.
It was back in 1987 by a company that was called Put Sarajevo. And after that, the road became so bad. Recently, we had some repairs being done, but they were manual. And we were suffering.
Gari zetu tunapozinunua nyingi zetu ni za loan, na kusema ukweli hiyo ndio shida kwanza imetukamba sana sababu ya barabara.
Residents welcomed the move, saying poor roads have affected transport, businesses, banking services and movement of farm produce in an area who the mainstay is agriculture production.
Tumekuwa na tatizo kubwa sana kwa mafuta na tena kutengeneza magari. Magari zetu zimekuwa na bei kali kutengeneza kwa sababu tunanunua gari ikiwa mpya na unaona gari haiwezi maliza miaka 5 bila kuharibika.
Hatukuwa tunaweza kupata maziwa kutoka kwa wakulima na ile njia inafaa, na wale investors wote wenye walikuwa wanataka kukuja hapa kufanya biashara na sisi walikuwa wanakuja wanaenda.
Transport operators and tea farmers also expressed optimism, saying the road upgrade will reduce operational costs and improve access to markets.
Barabara itatusaidia sana mambo ya majani. Uchukuzi wa majani tunatumia pesa mingi sana kwa mafuta. Kwa hivyo kwa barabara sije hata tumejengewa Mau, kuna barabara tunabebea majani kwa rami na ni uchukuzi inakuwa rahisi sana, na hata masaa ya kupeleka hiyo product kutoka kwa factory inakuwa rahisi sana.
The leadership in the area says the project is part of efforts by the government to revive the economy of the constituency.
Kufikia hivi sasa tumefanya zaidi ya kilomita 70 ya rami upande huu wa chini na ule wa juu, na tunaonelea kwamba tukiendelea hivyo kabla tufike wakati wa uchaguzi tutakuwa tumefika takriban kilomita 200.
Thank you, Tess, for that report. Kenya's push to grow technical skills and grassroots motorsports talent has received a major boost following the launch of CXL1 Junior Motorsports Cross Car Assembly project under the State Department for Technical and Vocational Education, as well as training. The initiative being implemented in partnership with the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile and the Ministry of Sports through the Motorsports Academy will bring together students from various TVET institutions to gain hands-on engineering experience while supporting the growth of local motorsport innovation.
Students from various technical training institutions are currently participating in the assembling and fabrication of the CXL1 Junior Motorsport Cross Car at the Kenya School of TVET, following a presidential directive aimed at strengthening practical skills development and innovation among the youth.
We are here at Kenya School of TVET with the group behind me for fabrication of a motorsports car.
The team is actually here to implement a presidential directive that was given to TVET institution to be able to design and fabricate a motorsport car as opposed to what was actually used.
Among the institutions taking part in the project are Kabete National Polytechnic, PC Kinyanjui Technical Training Institute, Nairobi National Polytechnic, Karen Technical Training Institute, Limuru Technical and Vocational College, and Kiambu-based TVET institutions.
We are very grateful for this opportunity to be able to fabricate and machine our sports car, motor cross car.
The project seeks to nurture young motorsport talent while equipping trainees with practical engineering and fabrication skills aligned with international standards.
The reason why we are gathered here is to assemble various skills from various institutions, where now the students are going to demonstrate their skills and share with one another. So because motor vehicle is a combination of various fields, we are able to combine various disciplines to come up with a functional motor vehicle.
The affordable racing vehicle is also expected to strengthen innovation, industrial development and technical capacity within Kenya's TVET sector. Noel Ongeso for Prime Edition.
Elsewhere, African Union ambassadors are calling for deeper integration across the continent, including introduction of a single African currency and easier cross-border travel to boost intra-Africa trade. The remarks came during Africa Day celebrations held here in Nairobi, where ambassadors and delegates from 16 African nations present at the event called for improved road infrastructure networks to connect African states more directly. The Africa Day is celebrated annually on the 25th of every May, commemorate the founding of the Organization of African Unity, also known as FAO.
Is to advocate for one Africa, one unity, bloodline glory. Africa where we can move freely from one country to another.
We had conversations around having a unified currency. We had conversations around having a unified lingua franca. For me, I believe that these conversations are essential in driving forward the Build Africa, Buy Africa, Grow Africa agenda.
From Africa to Beijing, where Kenya's ambassador to China, Willie Bett, led African nations in calling for the easing of trade barriers that continue to limit the full benefits of China's zero-tariff access policy for African exports. Speaking during high-level discussions on China-African Economic Cooperation in Beijing, Ambassador Bett said that despite expanded market access, non-tariff barriers, customs delays, and logistical challenges still hinder smooth entry of African products into the Chinese market.
With seminars on zero tariff kicking off in Beijing, China, African leaders have renewed calls for the reduction of trade bottlenecks and non-tariff barriers that continue to slow down the full implementation and the impact of zero tariff access for the African exports into the Chinese market. Kenya's ambassador to China, Willie Bett, led the discussion, noting that Kenya stands to benefit significantly through increased exports of tea, coffee, avocados, flowers, and macadamia.
If Africa seizes this moment by tightening standards, modernizing logistics, deepening regional value chains through the FTA, and engaging proactively with Chinese authorities in non-tariff issues, we can convert preferences into performance.
There is urgency to implement the AFCFTA, which is now augmented by the People's Republic of China zero tariff treatment, which hopefully will, I quote, determine whether a product can move from an African farm, factory or mine to the Chinese market on competitive terms.
Ambassador Bett emphasized the need for easier custom procedures, faster product certification, and improved logistics systems to enable African business competitively access the Chinese market and fully benefit from the zero tariff arrangement.
Kenya signed the early harvest arrangement in March 2026 during the visit by His Excellency Han Zheng, the Vice President of the People's Republic of China, where he also flagged off the first zero tariff consignment to come to China. I'm happy to note that those consignments arrived in the various ports of China, Guangzhou, Xiamen, and Dalian, and have been cleared.
African representatives attending the forum, noting that strengthening trade facilitation and improving connectivity between China and Africa will be key in boosting exports, creating jobs, and accelerating industrial growth across the African continent. The leaders further called for stronger coordination and standards, documentation, and trade facilitation mechanisms to reduce friction in cross-border commerce.
As China expands the zero-tariff access to the African nations, the focus is now quickly shifting to how the African economies can potentially and strategically place themselves to harness the trade as well as the growth opportunities provided by this initiative. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Beijing in China, my name is Gladys Mungai.
Thank you, Gladys Mungai in Beijing with that report. A rare and life-threatening ectopic pregnancy has ended in celebration at Bondo Sub-County Hospital in Siaya County after doctors successfully operated on the mother, Nancy Akinyi, and saved her baby. According to experts, the condition occurs in only 1 out of every 10,000 pregnancies globally. Women in the country are calling for immediate interventions of government on the rising cases of gender-based violence and femicide.
Nancy Akinyi's story is nothing short of a miracle. She is among 10% of women whose babies survive an ectopic pregnancy. Nancy Akinyi Omondi was admitted into the hospital on 6th April 2026 after complaining of severe abdominal pains.
Nilikuwa nasikia tumbo kama imeuma, nikatoka nyumbani, nikakuja hapa Bondo. Daktari akanifanyia operation, akatoa mtoto. Mimi sikujua niko na mtoto.
Dr. Ogoti said tests revealed that she had ectopic pregnancy, a rare occurrence that happens in 1 out of 10,000 pregnancies globally.
The team acted promptly, followed by required emergency protocols, and successfully conducted surgery that resulted in delivery of a live baby weighing 1,000 grams. Today, after dedicated care in our newborn unit, the baby has gained the required weight for discharge. This is a remarkable milestone.
We were able to diagnose this at around 28 weeks when the patient came to us. All protocols followed as regards management of ectopic pregnancy, and we ended up extracting the baby.
The area governor, James Orengo, says investments in the reproductive health services have helped lower maternal deaths in Siaya County. The baby born weighing 1 kilogram survived after receiving specialized care in the newborn unit. In Samburu East constituency, a section of residents from Archers Post and Liarata are demanding reforms in the leadership of the Losesia Group Ranch over claims of mismanagement, exclusion from decision-making, and lack of transparency in investment opportunities. The residents accuse some officials of overstaying in office and are now calling for fresh elections to restore accountability.
Wale anashirikiana nao ni watapeli wengine ambao wamewashika. Yeye ndio anajua nani atakuwa member wa group ranch ya board ile kamati inaongoza. Ameleta mtu anaitwa SK hatumtaki kabisa.
In Nandi County, the Talai clan is calling on the government to reinstate the Kapsisiyu Award, which existed before the promulgation of the 2010 constitution, saying the move would help fast-track development in the area and bring services closer to the residents.
I nilikuwa councillor wa Kapsisiyu. I was elected by the people of Kapsisiyu. But that word has been deleted. And historically, tuko na area yetu kama Kapsisiyu location, tulikuwa na ward yetu, whereby we have more than 3 councillors.
In Makueni, women representative Rose Museo has demanded the immediate state intervention to halt the surging wave of femicide and gender-based violence across the country. Speaking at Mwatini Comprehensive School in Kibwezi Township during the distribution of sanitary towels, Museo urged the government to swiftly implement anti-femicide recommendations to stop the disappearance and brutal killings of women and girls.
Wanawake wanauawa na watoto wa kike pia wanakuwa abducted. Jambo hilo ni jambo ambalo limeleta shida sana kwa sababu linatuumiza. Serikali, kwa nini mkaweze kuacha jambo kama hili liendelee kwa watu ambao wamekosa nidhamu?
Finally, women rights activists have called for concerted efforts to support menstrual hygiene through provision of sanitary pads available to all and confronting taboos and stigmas associated with it. As the world marks this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day, many girls and women in the country still have no access to basic commodity despite Kenya enacting the Menstrual Hygiene Management Policy in 2019.
We chose to work with reusable sanitary towels and menstrual cups because this is the most sustainable way for keeping these girls in school. And we would encourage our community, our government, our county to support us so that every girl doesn't have to miss school during her menses.
For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Also, a former Nairobi Member of County Assembly, Patrick Mbangula, has declared his gubernatorial bid for the Nairobi City County, joining a list of aspirants seeking to unseat Governor Johnson Sakaja. Speaking in Dagoretti South, during prayer breakfast meeting with a section of religious leaders from the Kamba community, Bangula said he is seeking to turn Nairobi into a new and a global metropolis.
Ya uongozi ya wachungaji kutoka eneo.
Na mimi kama Musili wanaweza kuniombea ili nikaweze kufaulu katika safari hii na maono ambayo niko nayo ya kuongoza kama governor wa kaunti kubwa na kuu ya Nairobi. Kwa hivyo mimi ni kuuliza viongozi wa dini tuendelee na kushikana pamoja.
Mheshimiwa Patrick Bangula tuko na yeye siku ya leo ambao amekuja na kuongea nazi kila anataka kupanda, anataka ungapana wa Nairobi, na sisi tukaamua kama jamii kwa sauti moja ya kwamba tutasimama na yeye na tutamsaidia kila popote ambao tuko na makanisa yetu. Tutasema ya kwamba tunataka tuchukue hiyo kiti ya governor.
Hapa tuko na aspirants wanasimama ambao ni pastors, na tumeamua kwamba wote wakiongozwa na Patrick Bangula, irrelevant of the party, hata kama mkambo wetu ako wapi, tumeamua Nairobi tutasimama nyuma yao ama tuko na wao kila ili tupate viti mingi Nairobi County. Na our prayers Nairobi County, tukisaidiwa na our patron Patrick Bangula, tutazunguka Nairobi mzima na very soon tutakuwa na over 10,000 clergy.
The Glam on Wheels initiative has launched its training classes in Machakos County, with Mavoko Sub-County becoming the first area to benefit from the empowerment program targeting youth and women with beauty and becomings and grooming skills. Founder Captain Irene Danu said the initiative seeks to equip 800 trainees with practical beauty and grooming skills and help them create job opportunities.
Inside the training hall, tables are neatly arranged with an assortment of beauty tools and equipment as trainees immerse themselves in practical lessons. Makeup brushes, eye pencils, mirrors, and professional makeup kits are spread across the tables, while another section is filled with nail equipment where trainees carefully work on nail applications and designs. The room is lively and focused, with participants keenly following instruction, practicing techniques and perfecting the art of beautification. Speaking during the inaugural training session for the first 100 beneficiaries at Portland Sports Club, founder Captain Irene Danu said the initiative seeks to equip 800 trainees with practical beauty and grooming skills to help them earn a living and become self-reliant.
We are having all the 4 training courses taking place
We have 100% turnout for our students. So we start from 9 in the morning and the classes end at 4 o'clock.
Danu said the program has been structured to ensure accessibility for all participants, with the training costs, meals, transport and graduation expenses fully catered for.
We have 4 days of training, and then the 5th day we'll have the graduation for all the 100 students. Brought to school here to training grounds, and we provide them with breakfast and lunch, and then we send them back where we pick them up from, and classes continue the following day.
The initiative is being implemented in partnership with Foina Beauty Training Institute, with the courses compressed into an intensive 4-day training program.
We are doing makeup, hair, nails and barbering as we promised. Our classes will be running for the next 8 weeks. It's going to be a very intensive class.
I've learned how to apply gel. I might not be perfect today, but maybe tomorrow evening we will be talking a different story. It is not hard. It just wants somebody to concentrate.
Dan further revealed that plans are underway to roll out additional training opportunities for those who missed the first intake. For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
And so now for sports news, where Kenya Lioness stormed to the top of the Rugby Africa Women's Cup Performance Division after a 57-0 match day 2 win against Madagascar at the RFUA grounds in Nairobi. Defending champions South Africa are second after a 47-20 defeat of Uganda.
In this game, ball and ended up scoring that try.
Much prepared. That is what we are working towards. We're working towards winning gold on home ground. We'll just trust our systems, trust what we've been doing. It's been giving out results, so that is what we're gonna do.
People are like to play home, not going MVP home. That's amazing.
The past 2 games, these ladies have had a lot of fun, and I think we still have 1 more game to crown it all, and I think that will be the big test. So for us, we've ticked both our boxes in the first 2 games, and we hope the next game the ball bounces away.
Snide with the boot, fails to go between the...
And of course, congratulations are in order for the Kenyan Lioness. The newly crowned Football Kenya Federation Premier League champions Gor Mahia were held to a 0-0 draw by Mara Sugar during the FKF Premier League match played Wednesday at Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay County. The fixture was postponed on Sunday after Mara Sugar, the home team, disputed the decision by FKF to move the match from Awendo Green Stadium to Homa Bay, with Gor Mahia's closest title challengers AFC Leopards losing 2-1 to APS Bomet. Kogalo were declared the league champions for the 22nd time with 2 matches to spare. Following the draw, Gor Mahia consolidate their leadership with 69 points, while Mara Sugar is 8th on 44 points. In other league results, KCB defeated already relegated Sofapaka 2-1, while Tusker 2-0 Ulinzi and Police drew 1-1 with Kariobangi Sharks.
It's a good effort from the team. It's a good, during our first leg, we had some inferiority complex catching up. But today I've seen the boys have come up and confidently they have played well and missed some chances, which maybe they would have converted. But all the same, it's good to get that 1 point from the champions.
We needed to do more than we did. I wasn't too happy with how we played in the second and the chances that we created, and how we also allowed at the back. We gave a lot of chances. We were not properly organized. But in all fairness, it's okay. We're going back and we want to finish very well in our next match.
Still on football, where Harambee Starlets are scheduled to go to the camp this Friday to prepare for the 4 Nations tournament, which will be held in Zambia next month. Head coach Beldin Odemba has named the provisional squad that will prepare for the tournament, and they include Emily Moranga and Vivian Shoyunzo, who will be making the return to the national women's football team. The others include strikers Elizabeth Mideva, Gentrix Shikwenga, defenders Elizabeth Ochaka, Ruth Ingosi, midfielders Mwana Halima Adam and Lorna Nyerinda, as well as goalkeepers Anade Kundu and Lilian Awor. The team will depart for Zambia on the 3rd of June before taking on Zimbabwe on the 6th and the host on the 9th of June. The Four Nations tournament will act as a build-up to the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, where Kenya will be making her second appearance. Elsewhere, Kenya volleyball setter Felix Otieno and middle blocker Felix Ogembo have been dropped from the final 14-player squad that will represent the country in the CFVB Zone 5 Nations qualifiers in Kampala, Uganda. Those who have made the cut include, among others, Elfas Makuto, Simon Chepkoril outside Hitler, Dennis Esokom and Moses Kamau. Setters Brian Meli and Kelvin Kipkogei, Stephen Barak and Hudson Kipchumba will be the liberos. Middle blockers Levis Ogutu and Brian Kimondo also made it to the final squad that has been training in Nairobi ahead of the zonal event. The team is scheduled to leave on Sunday for Kampala. The CAVB Zone 5 men's qualifiers are scheduled to start on the 30th of May to 6th of June this year. Well, and on that sports note, we come to the end of the Prime Edition today. Thank you very much indeed for watching the nation's most trusted broadcast. My name is O'Brien Kimani. On behalf of the entire production team, thank you. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people?
Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday.
We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health.
Someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is.
Good morning, Kenya.
We shape your day.
Good morning, Kenya. Every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for